Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Ibrahim Lamuwa, was allegedly was accused of sexually harassed Simisola Ajayi, a married and pregnant staff member. He was later suspended pending the outcome of a probe into the allegation against him. Not long after that, 3 more women testified against him. So what happened was that Simisola had complained to the Minister of Foreign Affairs himself, and the minister was the one who wrote a letter to the head of service concerning this permanent secretary. The head of service had responded saying that he has to be suspended while investigations will commence. What are your thoughts on this? There's so many layers to this story. You know, there's the layer of, okay, the fact that she's a married woman, she is a married woman. The fact that it's the minister that's reported. How did that happen? And what were the circumstances that led to the minister being the one to initiate this investigation? The fact that the head of service seemed to have done what was right was to suspend, because we usually don't have this happen. So there's so many layers to this. What are your thoughts on sexual harassment generally in Nigeria? We don't hear much about it. And people kind of just keep it hush-hush. What are your thoughts? You can call us on 081 0764 1679, 090 241 You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so this story has been trending for a week now, and many people have talked about it, but you know, we always say that until your view talks about it, it hasn't really been spoken about, because we come from different angles that many people don't do. What are your thoughts on the story? Let me start with you, Mariam, because you seem to be interested in this particular story.
I am.
No, you
Can give us gist, Joe.
No, I'm actually interested because I think it is not every day that we see this sort of case at this level. Usually the people who are called as small issues, but to have the level or caliber of people that are being called out concerning sexual harassment, I think this is a big deal. And because of that, yes, I have so much interest to see how this, pans out. So, first of all, there's still allegations. And we've been told, when there's allegations, we should be careful how we speak. But let's just assume, that we just had a bit more facts. And I'll go and say, unfortunately, there have been so many cases of things like this happening to friends, to relatives, to myself, in the work environment, that it is hard for me not to believe that this happened. It's just too often, too rampant, and many times they get away with it. I remember a friend of mine when we were serving, she served where she was, and she said that she had this boss who, because her own job required them to be there at night, who placed his hands on her shoulders, at first trying to do like he just, being friendly. And she said she felt uncomfortable. And out of respect, said, sir, please don't. And because of that, her stay in that place was not... Yes. And that when she finally had the courage to tell somebody like HR, they asked her to just pipe down. You're here for just a year. It's not a big deal.
Wow.
As long as, it just touch your shoulder, please, calm down. And not too long ago, I know of someone at her workplace, who was harassed. And when she reported, the HR admitted that they had received many reports just like that, but not to put her in trouble. They moved her from that office to another department, to another office.
So another girl can be a victim in that sort of...
Exactly. So that is how I see most of these things, being treated. I know that men don't like us when we say things like, what if this particular case is different? What if this man is innocent? For his sake, I just hope that whoever is guilty is found properly guilty, and whoever is innocent is, gets justice. But when I feel that girl, because for you to report at that level, that girl may have some evidence. Because as women and as girls, we found that it's not enough to just say this person did something to you. You need to go the extra mile to get evidence. Either you have video or some sort of radio recording. And that's what I feel she may have that has gotten the minister involved. It has to be evidence that, he may be unable to deny. And I hear that other people have also come out, you know, to accuse him as well. But we'll see how this pans out because
let me come to you, Biajuli. What are your thoughts on this story?
So the pain is that there are many women who are willing to give in without issues. You did not see those ones. You're harassing somebody who is saying, I am not interested, and you keep going. So what's giving you the guts that she will change her mind? That's the temerity for me. And according to the story, they said this matter has been on for quite a while. They tried to resolve it internally, allegedly, tried to resolve it internally, but he was not giving up. He was still pursuing this person, and that's why they made it public and they're taking up the case. This, for me, it just proves that a lot of people still feel that they can do and undo without any form of consequence, especially when they get to a position where they are high in probably their work, in society, the status, they feel like I can do anything and get away with it. What's so special about you? Is it not just the small thing that you have in front of you or that small thing that you have behind you? I am in charge here. And they use that to oppress a lot of people who are not interested, who do not want. There are women on the streets who are ready for whatever it is that you bring. That is their craft. They do not care. But you now have somebody who has come to do the work that she was sent to do, and she's saying, I am not for this. And the fact that you keep pushing and insisting is just so disrespectful. I want to believe that I don't know his religion, that he's Muslim. He can take as many wives as he wants. Maybe they have up to 4, but we don't know. I don't know the details if he has more than one wife. He should have just married more people, so that's one of the reasons they have that in their religion. So you marry more people so that you are preserved in you are focusing on your wives and you're not following other people's wives, pursuing them. And so see, the way this case is, I want to see how it gets, right? Because we know the country that we are in. And we know that it's patriarchy. And we know that after a while, it's okay. Apologize.
Because skeptics,
see how this
skeptics
goes.
also say that, okay, is it that I hate to say that, but is it that the minister too was interested in this person that is, do you know how people are always cynical about what's the motive? Why would the minister go and abuse? Is it that he was targeting this girl and she did not refuse and she's upset that somebody else tried it? And that's just street criticism. But these are different angles because seeing a minister at that level getting involved, it's either he's actually getting involved because he should, because she brought it to his level and she's at that level, or there could be other ulterior motives. But so that we're all on the same page of what her allegations were. She narrated multiple instances of harassment allegedly by Lamuwa, which has created an unsafe and uncomfortable working environment for her. She claimed, for instance, that during their policy retreat in October 7, 2023, Lamuwa allegedly made inappropriate advances towards her, suggesting she joined him in his hotel room.
Ew.
He reportedly continued with inappropriate remarks throughout the retreat. She also cited an example where he allegedly invited her to travel to Hong Kong with him, promising significant personal benefits from the trip. So, as Bisi said, there's some girls that will jump at this in a second. This Hong Kong, like what? Retreat, come to a guy's hotel room.
We go.
They will be happy.
They will just go.
They will just go there, So, but this woman has said, I'm not interested. And why was it so difficult for him to look the other way? Let me come to you.
I think that's the pull for the guy. Because
when you resist.
The other ones who just
accept,
agree. But
the forbidden fruit is sweeter.
And then the fact that she's married, maybe he has this
fantasy.
Sleeping with another man's wife is what is tripping him, So, but it has now landed him in hot water.
Yeah.
This is desire for the unattainable has landed him in hot water. And let him face the...
But also, there's a part, Mariam, that the fact that the head of service is a woman, Folasade Yemi-Esan, do you think this also is the reason why we're hearing that there's a suspension? Because usually when things like this happen, they kind of patch it around and just have a out of media conversation. But for this woman to say, you know what, I will suspend the Perm while investigation is ongoing.
I still believe that she must have some concrete evidence. That is why that they're doing this. I don't know, the suggestion of maybe the minister may have something to do with her. Or what if it's just a relative? That's one. But secondly, what if she has gone the extra mile to make sure she got enough evidence so that you both cannot deny it? And to say that maybe the HOS is a woman, maybe that's why. I hope that's the reason why. But I know of cases, as I've mentioned before, even to me, that it did not matter who was head if was
was
female.
HR.
In fact, for females, I think females, we are mostly on like a survival thing, which is, see, I want
Mode.
yes, I want you to protect. I want to protect your job. I want to protect this. These men, that's how they are. Ignore it if you can. Make sure that you don't come to his office. You know,
I can
things
move
like
you to
that.
another department to
Or
save
else,
you.
what this will happen is that they will just end your career for nothing. So that's how I find women, you know, always
Handle
trying
these
to
issues.
handle things like that around it. It's men that are more likely, if you're lucky enough to find a man that's really
Upright.
stand for you,
Yeah.
that's likely to face them
Yeah.
head to head,
Yeah.
man to man. But even in that case, there's a way that they always go around you and sort it out. It's not vex.
But if this case is as it seems, it would be a fantastic testimony to the fact that a woman can speak up.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's exactly as it is, where she reported to the Honorable Minister, and the Honorable Minister took it up and ensured the permanent secretary, this is not just any staff,
Yeah.
permanent secretary, this is the high level. They sign the checks,
Yeah.
at least in Lagos State, I know. But these are the guys. So if it really is, if it's as it is, it's a good story. I mean, it's huge. I mean, so women know that you can get justice.
Yeah.
And what happened to her did not happen in vain.
Yeah. So we also need to educate our men because, you know, they have gotten away with some of these behaviors for a very long time because of the sort of society we find ourselves. I've seen a couple of people who, in their comments and all of that, you can easily call that sexual harassment. But it flies in this part of the world. You just see somebody's wife, you will greet them, you tap the back, you will hug them, you squeeze, you shake them, you do that thing that they used to do in the middle of the hand. You know, they just get away with it. Our men need to understand that a workplace is a workplace. There are certain conducts that are not allowed in a workplace. And if you are found wanting, you can be prosecuted for it so that they will start behaving properly. Because the young ones are also looking at how these things are done. And that's why lots of them get into trouble when they travel outside the country. Where one small comment of you smell nice can land you in jail. You know, and they're now wondering, are they against us, black people? We need to behave better. And this is more like an example.
Okay, I want to also pack the story for a second. Now focus on sexual harassment generally. But why you wanted to jump on
No, I
something?
was just going to hit that thing in the middle of
Yes,
the
shake you and
get
pull.
that
That was
thing.
back in the day now.
They still do it. Oh,
Did they still do it?
Back
yes.
in the day.
No, back, not back in the day, they still do it.
So
I think it's so horrible.
It's so disrespectful.
going back to sexual harassment. So this case, while the investigation is ongoing, we'll wait and see the outcome. But talking about sexual harassment, I think Mariam also took us the stories we've heard. I have 1,000,001 stories. I mean, I know somebody who you all also know. She left her job because the boss was literally, like he was practically forcing them to do things all the girls didn't want to do. Wow. He'll make them bring stuff for them, stuff for him in his house. Hey. He'll come into his house, he'll tell them to come into the living room. He'll practically remove his pants and tell them to start doing stuff on him. And there was a girl that practically ran home.
Wasn't he married?
His children are in the abroad. You know how they relocate the family in the abroad. So he's in his house, he's a bachelor. So the girl ran back to the office, obviously, told, this is my person that I know. That one said, that one obviously was also said that she has also experienced something similar, but she didn't go to his house. She was really careful never to go to his house. She was giving reasons why she can never go to his house. But she was shocked that when the girl got to his house, the man practically pulled his pants down and was telling her to do stuff to him.
Jesus.
And she had to find a way to run off, you know. So the point is that some girls feel that, let me just one situation, let me just do it and go, at least I get a job. Because they think, consider the families they have to feed. They consider the debts, their families. So again, I'd like us to really go to this conversation critically. Many adult women have been through this. And as you said, some have said, listen, that thing in your 20s, just know it's part of the growing up.
Part of life.
You just blank yourself, do it, move on, you get your promotion. And others are saying, I didn't do it. So how do we help young people who face these situations?
Mora, every time I think about this, that my child, my daughter, some point in my life, I have to teach her about something like this, that she may come in contact with people like this. Can you imagine? Like, all the other things she has to deal with, then I have to add this one on top, where you've raised a confident, ambitious, excited person. And then she goes into the workforce and look at the sort of things that's happening to her. What sort of decisions will she make? Would, you know, and you find that even with friends that are like, you know, I have too many issues. I need this job. What is there? I will sort myself out. Or you have people who have decided, I'm not going to do it. And they just seem like they never get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, this one that you seem so
weigh the
smart and
pros
so
and cons.
you know, you're so smart and everything. How come you're still at this level? Or how come you've lost yet another job? And there's a thing about women when they complain about sexual harassment, especially when it happens to you more than once. Is it only you? Why there must be something you must be doing that they are seeing you.
Yeah.
There's a way you're carrying yourself. There's a way you're dressing. So for me, this case, I wish is handled properly and openly, so that there are measures that will be put in place at the workplace to protect young girls and young boys, as I hear these days, you know, are also harassed.
Yeah.
So what will we tell them is, you know, just be true to yourself, be confident, refuse to participate, because when you do not participate, then you don't create a place for them. And then for those who are older, I think really the message should be for those who are older and who are there, be allies, be aunties, be mothers for the younger ones. You know the pitfalls, you know what they may be facing. So when a young girl comes into a workplace and she be the person that she can approach and speak to, and that you're able to protect her, not just morally, you know, but also, you know, like with the laws of the workplace and protecting young girls and young boys.
Let me take this call from Sheon, who's calling from Ketu. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I think our education system is also questionable. Yes, because you won't see somebody who graduates from Harvard, if it's an individual, and then you have to sleep with somebody. You see, they don't build the confidence in people right from the university. Or something is definitely wrong with our education system. You understand? Because it starts from school, where a lady will be asked to sleep with, you know, a lecturer will ask you to sleep with him before he can pass you. If you've been sleeping with lecturer from school before you graduate, definitely you will sleep with men to get job. So a lot also is wrong from some of our social institutions that we need to correct. I think that's what we
educational
also
problem,
need to
sir.
start
Thank you, Sheon.
looking
Yeah.
at.
I would have loved to engage
Because
him a
he
bit
says that
to
for
break it
those-
down.
For those who have graduated from Harvard, they won't need to
Sleep with anybody.
So we have heard the Oyinbo ones, so the Me Too movement came from something. We have heard them talk about the harassment that happens everywhere. In fact, there's this story right now that's broken in Hollywood. For those who watch like Disney, I don't know, Amanda Bynes. You know, the story that's coming out of the sort of harassment that she went through as a 13-year-old child. So today, we just see an adult person who just does not seem to be able to get her act together, who's just misbehaving.
Dysfunctional adult.
Promising, you know, she looked like in a very few years she was going to be one of the A-listers. But now we're looking, you know, people are looking back in her life and realize that there were men in her life, adult men that took advantage of a vulnerable girl who was trying to build her career. That's nothing to do with which schools you've been to or you know, anything like that. It has to do with these people that assault people because they think they have the power, they have the position.
Yeah, it's an unbalanced power play, and that's how we should see it. It's not about a woman or a man, because it can happen both ways, but it's the fact that one is in a position of authority to frustrate another if they don't give in to their will. That's how it's seen. And that's how the law should also protect the person who is being assaulted, because that person is in the scale of the power tussle, that person is here. So it's not everybody that has the ability to stand up for themselves and say no to this. Sometimes people take all of those things and they're not able to, you know, speak out. They're not able to talk to somebody, or they may have spoken to a few people who tell them, shut up, keep quiet. You don't want your future, you don't want this and all of that. And they take it. Does not mean that they are happy taking it. So when that system is in place to protect them, with those who are able to stand up for themselves, and those who are not able to stand up for themselves, the system protects them in such a way that the person who is the perpetrator is dealt with. So sometimes when we hear some of these things, we are now blaming only you. Is it what energy do you carry? What is that thing that you're doing? Why are they always coming after you?
Yes.
I like what you said about power play. It also starts from the house. How we raise our children. Are they confident to be able to confront situations like this? Are they able to defend themselves and come out and say, you know what, you can't do this to me. I don't deserve this behavior. Because when the father suppresses you so much, you become vulnerable When you go out, when you are faced in situations like
Any
this.
other man
So
out there.
yeah, so the power show in your house is such that you are a full person. You're a full, because it's a full spirit.
Yes,
you're a
so
full respected,
full-blown-
full spirit. Where you are respected. There's nobody you cannot face when they start bringing a negative energy towards you. You know how to defend yourself. But when there's a power play such that you're constantly suppressed, you're constantly depressed, you're constantly feeling that you're low. When you go outside, they're a victim. Outside, you accept the victim because you're like, I am supposed to be a victim. You're supposed to be Lord over me. You're supposed to be my boss. You're supposed to be my employer. Yeah. So whatever you give to me, I must take. Yeah. So it starts from the home, not necessarily the educational sector.
No, it has nothing to do with education. If you ask me.
Go on.
Okay, because that's one.
Yeah.
But then there's a second one where you raise a confident child, you raise a confident person, and the person goes out into society and that person speaks up, and society breaks you down and victimizes or, makes you the bad person. Yeah. So that's why some people think, oh, I saw this happen to the girl A, and this is how society reacted. I'm not going to do that. True. I need to protect myself.
Her journey is longer. Yeah. Her journey, the girl who you're saying, the good girl who chooses not to take that, her journey seems longer because she gets fired and have to start over again. But the other one who agreed has gone faster, got promotion, looks great, and she's just having, so yeah, I hear you. You're absolutely correct. Let me take this call from Sulaiman. Good morning, Sulaiman.
Good morning, ma.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. My take on this sexual stuff is that I can see in my own opinion, I think like when a critic saw somebody that is carrying something on his head and the person is a cripple, and he was not trying to criticize him that what you are carrying is bent, but the critic does not look that the person is a cripple. So that's the issue here. We are tackling the event, but what are the causes? The causes is that the way our women today, either in the office anywhere, relate with men. How can a married woman hug his fellow colleagues in the working place, take hands with them, we relate with them anyhow? So that's what triggers all these things. And as a Muslim, Prophet Muhammad said that it's better for a man to hold on to a coal, a burnt coal, than to be seeking women that are not their wives, because all these things trigger this. So I would like us to look the causes. So thank you very much.
Interesting.
We should not hug, we should not shake.
He's blaming women. Yeah. He's saying if you hug, when you hug somebody,
shake hands.
But I don't think hugging a person is inviting
the person,
anybody to come and. I mean, I can meet your husband and hug him. Doesn't mean that I'm
not inviting him.
Mr. Uba, come and chase me.
But trying to...
I saw your husband the other day. I jumped on him because, I didn't see him for a long time.
Trying to understand where he's coming from. There are some people that don't have that exposure. The truth is that there are some men who were raised that they were maybe shielded all their life. They've never been exposed. And maybe it's only their wives they've been exposed to. They've never explored anything. So those kind of men, if any woman looks like you, YK, hugs them, something moves in their body because they've never been hugged aside from their wife or their family. So it's supposed to, so I'm just trying to understand where he's coming from. There, because you don't want to tempt a man. There's some men that they know how to hug.
So this is where you educate the men. Yeah. So in the real world, sir, if you come from a place where you were shielded, in the real world, that does not justify assaulting someone else. If you are that sort of person where you don't accept, if a woman comes up to you to hug you, you stop her in her tracks so she respects your own boundaries. You have the right to have boundaries. You have the right not to be tempted by what you don't want to be tempted. Madam, I don't hug. Madam, I don't shake. Simple. Madam, please don't call me beyond this time. Then you have your boundaries. But assaulting her and trying to justify that because of the way you were raised, uncle, that is bad things. And then secondly, there are many women who do not do these things that women are accused of. It's not in their dressing. It's not that they're shaking your hands. It's not that they're hugging. In fact, the fact that they don't even look at you or pay you any mind annoys you to the point that you want to break them. So you chase them until you see how you can break them. There are men like that. So what will be the reason for that?
Let me go on a short break. In the spirit. When we come back, we continue with this topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.